Greetings and salutations, people of the internet. So, I'm here with my very first book review, and I decided to go with one of my absolute favorites, Abraham Lincoln, Vampire Hunter, by Seth Grahame-Smith. I came across this book in my local Barnes & Noble a couple years ago, and I have read it 3 times since. It's one of my absolute favorites. It is classified as a fantasy horror book, so if you like stuff like that, then this is definitely the book for you. So I'm going to start out with the summary, which is it follows the life of Abraham Lincoln, but with a twist. It follows his life as a vampire hunter. And the prologue, I think, is especially interesting because it's told in the perspective of the author. And it's introduced as a kind of like, almost like a flashback, because the author is given the journals of Abraham Lincoln, and he is tasked with writing about his life as a vampire hunter, and that's where this book comes from. It's a very, very interesting read. There's a lot of, ups and downs, and you really feel like you're going on this journey with him, and the writing style is very incredible because it goes between actual journal entries and then just regular prose, and it's divided into parts. So I don't think there are chapters in a way, but it's mostly parts. So I think that's also really cool. So onto characters. Obviously there is Abraham Lincoln, and it goes from the time he's born until he's assassinated. And seeing that kind of character development over time, because, in school especially, you do learn about him and, what he's done as a president, but taking what you know about him and throwing vampires into the mix really gives you a whole new way to look at something, especially in this context, and I think it's really cool. Another one of my favorite characters that came from this book is a character named Henry, and he is a vampire, and he sort of becomes Abraham Lincoln's tutor in a way. He teaches him how to hunt vampires better. He tells him which vampires he should kill, and seeing, you do get to hear Henry's backstory, which is really interesting, but seeing how the two of them, one, the vampire that Abe has sworn to kill, and then Abe Lincoln, the one Henry should either fear or should be wanting to kill. Seeing them form such a strong bond is really cool, because when he first meets Henry, he's totally convinced that every vampire is evil and he has to kill them all. And then through Henry, he realizes that there are 2 different kinds of vampires, the ones that, murder people just in cold blood, and then there are vampires like Henry who don't like that aspect. They don't like killing. So it's really very, very cool to see that transformation. Another character that I found very, very amazing to read is the character of Jack Armstrong. He is Abe's first, not assistant, but first vampire hunting partner. And they are 2 very different types of people. Abe meets Jack when he's a young man, so the both of them, they butt heads a lot. Jack is more rough, where Abe's more sophisticated and educated, even though he hasn't really attended school. So seeing the 2 of them, fighting against a common enemy is very interesting, and it's really interesting to see how they play off of each other. And going off of that, another one of Abe's partners later in life is Joshua Speed, and again, very, not quite as different from Abe, but he does have kind of a rougher quality to him that I think, you know, really works in contrast with Abe's character. The way that the book finishes is very, very, very interesting because, you know, you've gone through this whole journey with Abe, and then we all know how this ends. He gets shot by John Wilkes Booth and he passes away. But the interesting thing is, when I first read this book, that's where I thought the story would end. But it didn't really end there. It kept going for a little ways, and it mostly talked about Henry and how Henry, you know, continued to live his life. And there was a very, I don't want to say a twist, but there was the bit at the end that really made me stop and reread it. It was so shocking. I'm not going to tell you what it is because I don't want to give it away, but if you like vampires, if you like history, if you're looking for a good book, this is definitely something I highly, highly recommend. I can't say enough positive things about it. So there you go. That's my first book review. I figured I'd break it down a little bit. It's kind of rough, but I think I'll get the hang of this when I do more. In the comments down below, let me know if you've read this book before, if you liked it, if you didn't like it, and also give me some suggestions of what to review next. I'm open to all ideas, and I hope you guys like this video. So until next time, keep a smile on your face, and I'll see you later. Bye!